Well, this is not really like Gilligan's Island. It's not as primitive as can be. I do have a can opener, and I got things in cans, so let's not bemoan this too much. And in this particular recipe, one of the things that I like about it is that I'm not going to be doing any draining of things except for the chickpeas, which started off last night as hard, dry chickpeas. I brought the water up to boiling. I then closed the lid to the pressure cooker and let them cook in heat in the hot water. Not so much cook, but absorb water for an hour, a little bit more than an hour. And then I brought them up to pressure in the pressure cooker, added more water because you want about 3 parts water to 1 part of chickpeas when you're cooking them in the pressure cooker. And then I cooked them for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And I like them where they're a bit soft. Oops, there. Some people would like them a bit firmer, but I don't want them to have to bother to chew so much. So. All right, so I can put these spices back, except for the curry powder. And now, typically, I prefer to use peanut oil across the board. For most of my cooking, peanut oil is what I want. I'm going to bring the pot, I'm going to heat the pot, and I'm going to use what I have, which is olive oil. Actually, at the moment I also have some mustard oil, but it has a stronger flavor than I want. Now I'm just putting enough olive oil in here to just coat the bottom of the pan. And the paste, the garlic paste, is going to go in as soon as the olive oil is heated. And I know it's off camera, but I just washed off the pestle. Now, if you live in a place where water is restricted, you have to think things out a different way. We live in a fairly well-watered place, and we do have tap water available. So, pardon me if I'm offending your water conservation sensibilities. This is how I test whether it's getting warm enough. If it feels like it's warm enough, then I'm not sticking my hand in the oil, folks. I'm just holding it above the pan. I'm starting to see a little bit of bubbling, which is probably because there was maybe some water in there. But now I'm going to put the garlic paste in. Okay, so this now involves a bit of stirring of the paste, just enough so that it starts to flavor the oil. I put in a little bit too much oil. That's okay, it will be alright. Alright, so I just let that cook until it starts to color, until the garlic begins to change color a little bit. And then in goes this is coconut milk. When I first started making this recipe, I could not find coconut milk, and what I could find was coconut cream, probably intended for some kind of mixed drink, because that's where I found it, was like in with various types of mixers. And coconut cream does work to make this recipe, but it's very, very, I think rich is the term that most people would apply. It's like just really a bit much. Now this recipe also calls for basil leaves. I remember these things, only fortunately I remember most of them before I completely finished the thing. Now it calls for 10 basil leaves, which is kind of hard to say, you know, like what's 10 basil leaves in terms of dried ground basil. You can turn the heat back to half or even to low at this point, because all you're really doing is blending things, because the potatoes are already cooked, the chickpeas are already cooked. I'm just going to get the tomato in here and that can heat up. I'm putting it in with all the whatever liquid is in with it, because we're going to need some more liquid. Sometimes I will add liquid to this beyond that, but you really don't need to. Okay, so this recipe calls for a tablespoon of curry powder, which is about that. And okay, so the tomatoes are in there, the curry powder's in there. Oh yes, soy sauce. And I can't remember now whether the recipe calls for 1 or 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So I put some soy sauce in there. As you can see, this is not very exact food preparation, and I decided that I'm just going to put all those potato bits in there, and I'm going to put all this chickpea in there. And now it's all over except for the simmering, which I will let this go for at least 10 minutes, so all the flavor can blend. And now it is time for that sort of, for some people, onerous duty, and for other people, you know, a pleasurable obligation of cleaning everything up. So I gotta get this clean. I gotta deal with this. These are always fun, and if you don't clean them, they're really gonna be a mess. So you want to get to it as soon as possible so that you don't have starchy stuff from the potatoes or the chickpeas or anything like that clogging up the strainer. And please be nice to the neighborhood and wash these out if you can before they go into the compost. Into the compost. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest of this on my own. You can kind of guess what's involved. I'm just going to clean up the kitchen, and in about 10 minutes I'm going to have some chickpea curry.